Good day, everyone. Good day. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for another day today. And I thank you for another opportunity to be here and come into the markets. Thank you so much for your grace, your mercy, your kindness on me. Thank you for all of your blessings and all of your provisions. I just ask that you would give me wisdom and discernment as I go into the market. And for anyone that's following along and trading, I also pray for wisdom and discernment for them. I ask these things in the name of Jesus, Yeshua. Amen. Okay. Just check in Forex Factory. We've got ADP non-farm employment change in 15 minutes. So that should bring some volatility. And then in 2 hours, we've got ISM services PMI. So should be a decent start to the morning. Whew. Just sound checking. All right, gonna clean these charts up. Go out to the daily. All right, definitely just battling in this area where yesterday I was kind of saying that there's a good chance we'll see consolidation in this zone. Here on the daily chart, we're right on these three big daily highs. And I think I had the 180 or the 181 that was marked in somewhere around a 182 would be, I think, was the first spot where we're floating around at, but we did dip below that yesterday. 1878. So another really important level down there. And don't know what's going to happen today, but we may see some more consolidation. We may see one of these news events be the catalyst to break out of this little spot and either continue down and create a recovery and a topping pattern on the euro dollar, or we may see a catalyst for the market to start heading back up and see some continuation on the weakening of the US dollar and the rise of the euro dollar. So that is what we'll be looking at today. So we'll be looking at these two levels closely. And I need to get my starting value. Which is 10,154.47. 10,154.47. All right, and then just drop down on those time frames. So we got really stuck in this one little spot through the London session last night, or during the day, depending on where you're from. And we've had this decent pullback on the down leg of a total of about 56, 57 pips from the low all the way up to that high, which is a decent rally off of those lows. But our current trajectory, from my perspective, is still that it's been heading down as the most recent energy in the market coming off of that high. Something like that. So, and we've got 10 minutes until the news. I'm going to drop down to the 15-minute chart. And now we've got a rounding bottom on the downside and another pivot higher up on the 15-minute chart. So definitely could be a situation where, well, for me, I would play both sides. But the news, I'm going to be watching that news to see if that's going to be a catalyst for sure to take this market somewhere else. Okay, rounding bottom on the 5-minute chart, and we're kind of just doing another version of that rounding bottom right now on the short time frame. So go down to the 1 minute and kind of rounding up again. So I'm going to just pop in a little long in here, see if that gets my target in the right spot. It just barely does. I would prefer to have it a little bit lower, but there's one decent little target on there. And then just put in a couple levels for this spot. And then another level right at the 1.1805. And that is 17 pips down from here. Hey, Vin. So glad to have you. Saw your message this morning and instantly got fired up. That is such an inspiration to hear of your conversion, transformation. Praise the Father for changing our hearts. Seriously, so cool. Oh, I gotta share a little mistake. I'm short on sleep today because I made a mistake trading last night. I'm just gonna get one more trade in here, one long. And I'm gonna pull up my trade history and show what happened. It was a newbie mistake. It's like such a newbie mistake. I don't know why I did it, but I guess they just still happen occasionally. Last night, I went about my normal trading session. I usually trade the Tokyo Open for a couple hours. And so that was in here, and it was a really nice, good moving Tokyo session. But I think I just got a little overconfident. I took off some of my stop or my take profits, and when I do that, I uh, I lose my bearings on how heavy I am and where I am. And so what I did was I ended up getting in some shorts in here, but I got carried away and got way too heavy on my shorts. Yeah, right in here. So I ended up getting way too heavy, like without even realizing it. And it when I take my take profits off, that tends to happen, and it's usually because I'm just expecting a bigger run and I want to catch maybe a little bit more. But I just was not paying much attention. I got way too heavy. The market drifted away from me, and I was hurting up here. I was like way too heavy, and it took me all the way into the London session. Like, and then I went through swings where I missed my exit, and I was like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me! What have I done?" Ended up going through the London session. It was like 3:34 in the morning for me. I finally found some break evens on that big stack and some little losses, and got out for. I think I ended up still making a little bit on this session, but barely. And then got about 3.5 hours of sleep between then and now. Let's measure my sleep. It was 230 bars of sleep, 230 minutes, something like that. So I got to make sure I leave my take profits on. And today, I'm going to be extra disciplined to get rid of that, scratch that habit that came in last night. All glory to God, Vin. Absolutely. Good morning, Larry. Me too. What's me too? You made a terrible mistake just like me. Oh dear, what a night that was. And then like 3.5 hours of sleep for me. So thankfully, I didn't end up having to stop out, but I was close. I ended up being 1.5% risk, and I stop out at 2% no matter what. 2% is my backup, and that's where I hit my stop losses, or 2%. I take my loss off no matter what. Take my losses. So thankfully, I didn't hit those. All right, zoom back in here, and we're just a minute and change away from the news. I'm in a couple positions here, so I'm going to pull up the Forex Factory on my phone. I just like to have it right by my side so I can see what's going on. Yep, we are just over a minute away. Wow, that went quick, me just telling my story about my losses there. I'm going to just pop out, take that win and then that one little break even there, little loss, and just sit on the side for a little. Let's see what that news does. Oops. Hey, Vin, does my audio seem okay? 15 seconds to the news. You can see the energy coming into the market. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see what happens. $22,000. Forecast was 46,000. So a little bit off on the forecast. But I don't know. How do you guys see that? Maybe a little bit of a non-event. Audio seems a little bit, it's okay. I know that my mics are charged, so hopefully that's not causing any issues. Well, where are we going with the euro dollar today? I'm just gonna pop along in here. Doesn't quite fit in the high yet. Then I'll pop another one in just down here. One more here. And then I gotta wait down to this level. I'll put a couple trades on this level right here. One. That was a little early. That's a better spot. Took one little profit. It drops down, I'll grab another one. Oh, did it get stuck? My platform stuck. Am I lagging? Doesn't. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there we go. My platform just seemed to have frozen up just a little. Hey, Larry, I know that the guys were doing some work on my Alveo account last night. They were kind of emailing back and forth between, I think there's two guys, Brian and I think it's Neil, that they both kind of work on it. And they said something about my hedge fund account just not being visible or something. So I went, and when they started doing their emailing back and forth, I went and opened up Alveo, and it just fired up right away like it's supposed to. And for the first time in a couple of weeks, it just loaded right up. And so that was kind of nice to see. So I think they're making some good progress. But when I loaded it up, the hedge fund account was not there. So I'm guessing maybe they're doing some work on it. Vin, I'm not sure if Larry's kept you up to date on that. The APR fund became a hedge fund. I believe it's like 2 years ago now. And so now funded traders are trading for the hedge fund. It's an official hedge fund. And I'm hoping that once Alveo is working again, my plan is to do these lives on Alveo. So I've just been waiting to get my platform running again. It's been a couple weeks. I've been hoping that I can do all this stuff from Alveo because Alveo is my favorite trading platform. It is my all-time favorite. I'm just gonna go and see if I can load it up and see what happens. Oh, this is amazing. It's actually loading up. It's loading up again. That's amazing. It's been a couple weeks of it just not being able to load up. It's been kind of really frustrating. Yes, Larry, I am a funded trader. Yeah, I have been locked out many times in the past, though. Lots of mistakes along the way. In the years of being at the apiary fund, I I stopped counting when I exceeded losing my account 20 times. I had earned it back and lost it over 20, and I just stopped counting, and that was like maybe that was a couple of years ago. So I've done it so many times, and it's a painful experience when you're working really hard. Just pop one more long in there, and then I'll want do one more if it drops down. Yeah, that ADP non-farm is just a non-event. So we've moved 14 pips so far on that news, back and forth. And then in an hour and a half, we've got ISM services. So that's another opportunity for a big mover. So my guess is maybe we'll see a little consolidation between now and that news, possibly. Just one more long in here, and then I'll have to wait for the market to drop down into these levels, and then I'll get in a little bit heavier trade sizing. starting to take a little profit. I'm going to put that long back on. I'm going to take that history off. Oh, my Alveo actually is not loading up. Psyched me out. It is frozen. I need to get that closed. It's just going to cause problems for me. Hey Vin, how's your trading been going today? You had a good session through the London session? Gonna get one more long in here. So that London session chop is, I'm guessing, it's not so good for your style of trading, right? Because it just chopped back and forth. And Larry just trades the Asian session. Yeah, I do too. Oh, and Vin, you're just watching what I'm doing. Larry, so you don't trade the London session regularly, but you regularly trade the Asian? Yeah, I regularly trade the Asian, and then occasionally I'll get stuck, and it kind of blends into the London Open. I don't like that to happen. It usually means it's a late night for me. But It definitely happened last night, well into the London session. Trying to make a breakdown. See if we can get down to that next level. Kind of got another little spot in here that may act as a support spot. My initial plan was to wait to come down here, but if over time it slows down and bounces around here, I'll add some of my position into this level. Just wait and see how that develops. Yeah, one of the most frustrating things I find is when you do a mistake that you've done many times before, and you just say to yourself, how is it possible I can make that mistake again? I have oversized so many times in the past, and what I did last night was such a newbie error that I've made so many times. And it just feels so annoying and frustrating and irritating when you make these mistakes. I feel like trading is one of those things where you can make the same mistake and just countless times. I don't know why. It can be so frustrating. Oh yeah, Vin. I don't usually record the Asian session, but we could definitely do one. Maybe we can do one this week. Do a live session at the Tokyo Open. I like it. I like it when because sometimes it only moves just a little, and that can be pretty beneficial to my type of trading. Yeah, Vin. I think that that news was pretty much a non-event, and what it's doing right now is almost nothing to do with the news being a bit negative, which I think it was a little bit negative as well for the dollar. So, oh, it's midnight for you now. So that Tokyo session, the Asian session, is kind of like late afternoon, early evening, dinner time. Okay, Larry, you'd say okay. Well, let's maybe see if we can. I'll look at my schedule today and then see if we can fit in a Tokyo session, Tokyo Open, and trade the Asian for a little bit. I'll have a look and see if we can do that, and we'll fit that in. I think that'd be fun. So, what time of day is the Asian session or the Tokyo Open for you, Vin? What time of day is that when that opens? Oh, you're saying that that's at midnight for you. Okay. I thought I just misunderstood thinking that it was midnight for you now. Yeah, that's kind of an annoying time, but yeah, if we schedule it in though, we'll just do it once or like, not plan on making it a regular thing, but we can just do one here and there. I'm wondering if I can squeeze one in this week. I'll have to talk with my wife, and we're actually on vacation this week. So I'll just have to see about doing that Tokyo session. So we had that 3 bar reversal come in here, and then we've just kind of chopped around off of that. It didn't really go one way or the other. Comes back down, I'll get into another long. I should have maybe got one in right where it dropped down, missed that. Oh, now we're heading back up. It's a pretty strong leg, pretty strong bar. Let's measure that. Oh, that's 5 pips. That's a strong bar. Wait until next week then. Yeah, I'm liking this little trading nook that I've got here though. It's just comfy and I got nice fast internet. Yep, then you're seeing a triple bottom. Yeah, it's kind of like an inverse head and shoulders at the moment. Triple bottom type thing. Seeing that one and that one there. And it seems like we've got another bottom coming in here. Taking a little bit more profit and kind of confirming that little pattern, that triple bottom or head and shoulder type thing. With that 1 minute bar, that was a strong close. Just have a look at the 5 minute, and we're just creating a 3 bar reversal on the 5 minute chart. So if it pulls back, I'll just add into that position a little bit. Get ready on the trigger. Oh, maybe it's not going to let me get into another one. Another strong close. I'm going to get into one here, right there. So that 5 minute bar was a really strong close and a 3 bar reversal on the 5 minute chart. Looks decent for the up leg. comes back down, I'll get into some more longs. Probably down here. Okay, I'll get into one there. It's not a great target. I want my target a little bit lower. So I gotta hold off. Took a little profit on that one. At the moment, I haven't been too concerned about getting out of these losses. If it started going a little bit more aggressively ahead of me, I'd be more concerned about trying to get out of them a little quicker. So I still should get out of. If I can hit this one more target, I should maybe just take off one loss off the top. But I think it's probably going to go in a range for the next little bit, so I haven't been too concerned or in a hurry to take losses. There's another profit in a 3-bar reversal with a, this is what I call shaved bottoms when they're just even, like that. And the bar closed, confirming the 3-bar reversal. So I'm just gonna hold for now. I'm really light, so I'm just fine to let it run. If it wants to go down, it's fine. I can still work out of those longs. If it runs down, I'll just get into it and wobble my way out of it. And turning back down. Get one trade in here. Yeah, it just fits under these highs. Oh yeah, that word, that wobble, right? Yeah, I use that technique every session. Yeah, it's a strong and powerful technique if you can learn to implement it into your trading. But sometimes it's just not for people in their type of trading as well. Everyone just has their own way of doing things and our own views of the market, and we just got to do what works. Just kind of floating around, barely going anywhere. Oh, as I say that, took profit. I'm going to take one loss off the top. Oh, that was not a good fill, but just took one loss off. If it drops back down, I'll go long. I feel like I'm a little bit more leaning towards the long side with the way that news was and with these pivots. But I don't think that I'm going to go long right here. I don't think that we have a real strong bias behind this market at the moment. I really think at the moment we're going to wait and the market's kind of wait to see what happens at that next news before it decides it wants to go anywhere. So I'm expecting this just to chop upside both ways, just chop around. It's a bit of a sleepy start. Yeah, it's just a total of 15 pips from the top of the news to the bottom of the news. 15 pips. Yeah, Sean has been a big influence in my trading. Definitely taken his wobble concept. Okay, I'll see if I can get into one more long if it just drops down a bit more. Hit one right here. And just took profits on that one. And we have a confirmed 3-bar reversal right in here and a little pivot higher, a little higher high that just came in. So that should open up the door to try and test these highs. And took profit. Will we break beyond these highs now? The question. Here comes the break. It's trying to. And taking profit. And just one last trade sitting on there. And took profits on that last one. Well, that ended up being pretty good. And a pretty strong move coming into the bull side. That was a big one. Took out all those profits. That's a 9 pip move, so that's a pretty standard move and a good time for it to pull back. So if it pulls back down into these highs, I'll get back into a long. Just get my finger ready on the trigger. Just a little push lower right there. Is a good target. It's inside these last body highs. That's a good spot. And then I'll have to wait for it to break back down into this zone before I get into more trades, into any longs. And just took profit right away again. That was a good one. Good entry, which led to a nice quick exit in profit. Now we wait. So up a few dollars now. That was a decent little. See, I like that kind of price action. And that type of movement is just really nice for my style of trading. Consolidating the chop. I love it when it chops, when it's just chopping back and forth. Those are my favorite times. Which I think goes against a lot of people would probably say that the chop is super annoying. But it just depends on your style. Like for me, if a market just starts running, I'm usually hurting in that market because I'm the type of guy that's going to fade the ends of the market. So if it doesn't stop, there'll be some people that are just holding onto their trades, running and running in favor, and I'm the one hurting and hurting because I want the market to stop.
All right, trying to break these highs in here. 1.182, call it 25, right there. 8.25. 1.1825 is the line. Larry, how you doing this morning? Did you find any good trades? If it pops back down, we'll get into some more long. We'll get into one long here. And then you can see now we're getting this bit of a cup and handle pattern coming in. Pretty decent signal for to go long. Here's the 5-minute chart where it looks a little bit cleaner. The only thing is that news wick that just kind of popped up just in here, but it's not much of a, I'd say not much of a hindrance. It's still pretty good pattern. Little cup and handle. And that makes a third higher high in this longer term pattern. So, oh, and then it could potentially break this trend line too. If it did start to break that, there's a good chance we could see a pretty strong leg. Yep, here's the 15-minute chart. That would be a good spot to see a trend break. Will it hold or will it bounce down and have another shot at these lows? There's a good opportunity for it to try and make a third test of the attempt to break this market down. So we could see a reversal off this spot too. But we'll just go with the short-term signals for now. Now that I'm seeing that trend line is right there, I'm a little bit hesitant to get into longs right at that trend line because it could bounce off there and then take a run back down. Oh yeah, you're emotionally down. So you did make a mistake too? Is that what happened? And did you end up getting caught having to trade into the London session just like I did? Okay, the 1 minute chart. We made 1, 2. This will be the third attempt. Okay, I'm gonna get into a long right here. That's a good spot. But total be I mean, this market really could bounce off this trend line and head down. I'm totally aware, and being so I'll be just light in case this does start sprinting downward. And profit target hit. Nice. In and out quick. On the UJ, should have been long and was short and thought it would come back, and it didn't, so it took a 2% loss. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry, guys. I was not, I had my mic off there for a little bit. I was on mute. I was just saying that my first trade setup was not a great entry, a great demonstration of how I enter. So I'm going to get into another one here. But the way that I enter is an inverse pyramid. So my first layer is one trade, and then on my second layer, it's two trades. And on my third layer, it's four trades. On my fourth layer, it's eight trades. And on my fifth layer, it's 16 trades. And then on my, sometimes there's a sixth layer, that'll be 32 trades. But I was explaining, and now I'm not sure if I had my mute on. When I place that last layer, it's right at the end of the line on my stop losses. So I should be about 5 pips away from my 32 pip stop losses when I enter that last trade setup, so that my heaviest trade is very close to stop losses. And that's critical so that I don't oversize. So it's always my heaviest trade is right near my stop losses. And then as soon as I hit that first stop loss, the whole trade setup is closed. I have a graph that I've drawn out, and I don't have it with me, but I should maybe in the next couple of classes I'll bring that graph in. Okay, so I'm getting into my third. I'm going to get into two trades here. The idea is that I'm doubling up and trying to keep that break-even line close to me. So sometimes my layers don't end up being perfect. See, I should be getting into 2 here, but I need it to drop a little bit more. Okay, just took profit. And if I got into 2 trades, I could take off the loss on the top, but I just didn't quite get in heavy enough. Larry, is 2% a rule for you? If you're losing 2%, do you just close everything? Or was it like just a structural area that you said I've got to get out on? Or how do you take your loss? Okay, I'll get back in here, long, then see if I can find another spot to get in a bit there, right in here. And I'll go one more that drops a bit more. Okay, one more long right there. And then we'll wait and see if this breaks. I got a feeling it is going to break these lows. If I can pop up and hit that layer for profits, I will take a loss off the top. When I get into my third layer, that's time for me to start taking losses on my upper layer. That is a rule. So if that market, so you felt like the market was going to keep running against you, and that was just felt like a good spot. Do you usually take a 2% loss, or do you have a specific way that you take your losses? All right, trying to make a turn on the 1 minute chart. Just took one little take profit off. If I can hit that second one, then I can take the loss off the top. There we go. I'll take a loss off the top. And now I'm in good shape again. If it drops down, I'll go long again. Oh, that was quite a flicker we just had there. Oh, just about to get into a long and didn't quite give me an opportunity. So I want it to go against me so I can get back in down here. Oh, just took some more profit. We're getting that turn. And one last trade sitting there. And that's that target was maybe not in the greatest spot. Should probably have been below those lows. So I'm just going to shimmy that down a little. See if I get one more shot to get that. That target out. I'm going to just I want it to be off here. So I'm going to just take that off. Then call that a good setup. Nice. So we got a really strong bounce off of that trend line. I think I'm going to take the short off of that because that energy really is coming into the short side now. I will be careful though in case this market wants to just run all the way back up. So I'm going to just take it easy on these shorts. And a profit on the short. That was a perfect little exit on the long and transition into the short. You don't really, so Larry, you don't really have a specific way to lose. Would you say that, um, do you have a habit or a tendency of taking your losses at a 2%? Or was it just structurally on that particular one, you just felt it was time to get out? I'm asking that because what you want to do is define that really well, how you lose. How you lose should be really specific, and how you make your profit should also be really specific. Okay, I'll take another short if it pops up here, right there. Just running right back into this level, it seems. Kind of pausing right in there. Okay, market's trying to run back up and make a new high. I need to find my, so I've got a good line on here for A level, but I got a feeling we'll find maybe another spot in here that we might slow down. This is that 50% line right here of that move. So if we break back above that, there's a good chance it will go all the way back up. So that's probably actually a good spot to go in for another trade right in here. Yeah, I'll take one there. And then if it breaks up, we'll just have to be really slow on those shorts again. But it's kind of looking like it's going to roll back over to the downside at the moment. I'm going to, if it pops up just a little bit more, I'll get into one more. I'm going to spread my layer out. My layer one will kind of just be in this zone. But the premise of how I enter is like an inverse pyramid. So I try to, sometimes my first layer, I'll spread a few of those trades out before I start stacking into the heavier sizing. Okay, and now we have an apex candle right in here. And then a confirmed 3-bar reversal close. So there's a good chance we'll see another down leg. And it is sitting right on those highs right there. We'll see if it can push through them. And I want this target to be just a little above that low. It's really at a spot where I should just be getting out. So I'm actually going to just take that profit there. There's a good chance it will bounce. My entry just wasn't that great, so I'm just taking a little bit less profit. And then I'll just reset. I'd rather just take a small profit and then reset for a better entry. See, right, actually, if I didn't take my profit there, I'd be then, and I've lost that profit. So if it can pop back into that line, I'll short it again, just a little bit more. Right there. And that gets my target right on that low, which is not bad. Then I'll take another one at this high somewhere. And profits on that one as well. Another nice little entry and exit. And a good read on that little bounce in real time. I took that profit early there, which allowed me a better entry to reset and then get a full 2 pips on the next one. So that was a nice little maneuver. And now it seems like the leg is breaking down again. And we are 35 minutes away from the news, which I imagine will be a bit more of a, well, I mean, we'll see if we'll get a catalyst out of that news or not. I'll go for a long right in here, right as we come into this. I call this like the crotch of the V, but that's like a support point right in there. So I'll take that trade and then I'll take another long down here. And a little wick on the bottom of that candle, and quickly engulfing that wick. So I got to get it to break down below that line before I can start entering it again to the long side. Okay, close below that red line. Just barely. So there's a good chance we'll see it come down to here. You get a push down into these lows. I can buy it up again. Get my finger on the trigger. No, and it closed back above that red line. And a trigger on a nadir candle. Right now, that is the nadir. And I'll get into a long if it comes down to that low. Okay, I'll get into one there. And then another one right at the very bottom. There's profits on that one. Perfect little entry. Getting ready. If it drops down again, I'll do it again. Okay, buy another one. And it is the stock market open. Seeing that little bit of volatility come in, and I think that's why. Okay, getting ready to go long again if it pops down right on into these lows. Oops, I already had a line there. There we go. One more push lower and I can get in right here. That last one, I'm going to just wait and see if it breaks now. Don't want to get into any more just yet because it might go for a run down. Here's the break. Okay, I'm going to back out on the chart so I can see where the next... Oh, whoops, going the wrong way. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to need to just hold up here for a little bit on adding risk. We could see this break down, or we could see this turn into a whipsaw and head back up. So just going to pause and wait and see what happens for a little bit. But if it breaks down, I'm going to have to wait and find some new. Oh, just took profit. Just reversed immediately. Go back down to the 1 minute. That was a big false break or a whipsaw. Yeah, big whipsaw to the downside and following back through to the upside. Okay, strong 1 minute bar close. Engulfing body. If it pops down, I'll go long again on these body lows, right on that red line again. Get back into it. Right in here. Finger on the trigger. What's it gonna do? Just waiting there, a finger on the trigger. It's kind of teasing me. Just flickering back and forth. All right, is it gonna go up or down? Okay, almost there. One more little push lower and I can get into that. Oh, okay, gonna try and break to the upside. Oh man, and that target was also in a bit of a bad spot. See how that target was just a little above those highs? That's kind of why it seemed to bounce there a couple times and missed it. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, when you do it over and over and over, you definitely just get better at it. Is there support resistance lows based on 1 minute charts only? No, definitely not. Uh, Definitely like to base them off of longer term for sure. 5 minute charts. So I'll just show you. I'm not sure if I had any. Like last night, I had some much better levels marked out. Yeah, but you can see down here, I've got a level and a stop loss is way down there, but I actually need to make sure I get out of that one last trade. So if it pushes back down, I'm going to buy it again. But I've got that level down here and the stop loss right at that last pivot. So in this case, I would, if the market actually was coming down, I would just move this stop loss out a little bit and give that last pivot a little bit more room. which means I have to trade much lighter so that I can make it down to there. But okay, I need to buy that right there. But yeah, that's one line that's marked on there. That's the 1.178 level, and then it's just kind of, I'll take those 1 minute levels just as we go. But I like to mark out the much longer term lines to know where those big, more important support and resistance levels are for sure. I don't know if I marked any. Yeah, I just haven't marked anything else yet, but that was the level I was looking at. And then that trend line is actually an important level. So we just took profit. And just come back down to the 1 minute chart here. Gonna get ready to buy that up again. So that trend line is also another support or resistance line for me too. If we break that to the upside, there's a really strong chance that we'll continue a pretty good leg up. But definitely looking at those longer term support and resistance levels for sure. But yeah, back down here on the 1 minute chart, it's getting kind of messy here. So I think I probably will just clear these charts up. Actually, now's a good time to do that. I'm going to just clear these charts right up, and then that news will be coming soon. So it'll be good to reevaluate. Just clean these charts up. Let's get rid of everything. Just start fresh. And we took profit again too. Perfect. Perfect time to reevaluate. So we had that whipsaw to the bottom, pulled right back up, and now we've kind of got like a double bottom starting to form on the 1 minute. I'm going to just buy this up here. My take profit comes in right at that high. I'm at the moment, I'm not all that biased to the long or the short. I don't really care so much, and I don't think it's really going to pick a direction for the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to be happy to just play both sides, I think, for the next little bit. See if I can get in and out a few times before the news. And so I'll just start drawing my lines back in for the short term. I'll show you what I'm looking at just on the really short term. Oh, what? And another profit target hit. As this chart starts to form this rounding double bottom, I'm starting to say I don't know if I want to take shorts in here. A little bit more, just a little bit more leaning into the long side as this current pattern starts to shape up right in front of us. So I'll go long again on that dip. And another target hit. And we're really starting to see this rounding double bottom come in here. And with that rejection wick on the downside, that's a pretty strong indication I'm going to go long on this dip to head up. So I'm going to go with that for now. That's the benefit of being able to get in and out quick, is you can adapt to this current circumstances as they're developing. I was happy with both sides just a few minutes ago, but now this pattern's come in, I'm a little bit more biased into the long side. Another target hit. It's a good session so far. We started at I think, gotta check and see what I started at. 154.47. Nice, we're up around $16. So on these pullbacks, I'm going to keep building for the long side. Take another long in here. It's getting a little bit high, so I'm going to be slow to buy up here because it could just pivot right back down. But here's something I'm looking at. If it does decide to pivot back down, we've got a good chance of creating this inverse head and shoulders. And there's another target hit. Nice. Those last few minutes were really good timing on those pullbacks. And that market is building strength. On the pullbacks, I'm going to keep buying. So now I'm looking at, pardon me, somewhere in here for it to pull back. I'll buy back on there. Larry, I don't use indicators. I personally just don't like them. I found in my earlier years, I would get so agitated and aggravated when they wouldn't do as they were like saying, leaning towards. It would just, they'd make me upset. And so I got too emotional using them. I would just get really upset with them. And then so I found that I just did better emotionally just not having them on. Okay, I'm going to buy right in here, right on that line. And that target comes in at the recent high as well. So it's a good target. And target hit. That was a great placement of trade, great entry, good timing, and a good exit. Yeah, you're welcome, Larry. Just my feelings and view on the indicators. I just don't like them for the most part. Like um, occasionally maybe I'd put up an RSI just to have a look at momentum, but I feel like I've just seen it so many times. I can see when the market's slowing its momentum, and that I just depend on those candles to read what it's doing. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have a candle chart to read, because the candles are really what it's like the language that I see the market in, is reading these candles as they come in. So the candles are like my indicator. $10 to the news. Really interested to see if this next news event will be a catalyst to make this market pick a direction. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you think this next news is going to be a catalyst to move the market away from this consolidation, or that midpoint? When I say that midpoint, I'm going to pull up the daily chart. I mean, this spot right here, I'm really feeling like if we can break back below through there, then it gives the market a good chance to come all the way back down and back into this trading range that we've been in for months. Or is it weeks? Yeah, weeks and months. Yep, all the way back to the summer. We started that range in the summer, and if it can get back down, it's a good chance it will trade down there. But if we move up from there, we're starting to see more continuation with those bulls. So it's a very interesting spot. Okay, just less than 5 minutes to the news. I'm gonna put this level back in here. 178. I think for me, that's maybe the most important level at the moment. I actually feel like it was a little bit lower, like we're right on the level right now where I expected it not to cross. So we did cross through this spot where it's at right now. $1.185. So if I think if we can break that 178, then there's a good chance we'll see continuation back to the downside. But that's kind of the level I'm going to be watching carefully as this news comes in. Two minutes. You can see these candles starting to move around. It's a good sign. We're going to see energy on this one. It means that participants are in. So that last candle was a 3.5 pip candle. And then again, about a 3 pip move. One minute to the news. All right, 20 seconds to the news. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. There's some good energy in this candle. Yeah, look at the movement. It's a good sign that we're going to have a lot of participants. There is a lot of participants. Okay, it didn't really pick 53.8. So this is going to be kind of a non-event again, which is interesting. So I wonder if there's nothing substantial here. So how's the market going to see that? Well, for the moment, I'm just going to play this volatility. If we keep getting some up and down movement, I will just play it. I'll start putting in my lines. Okay, I'm going to get one there. So now we've got this line. We've got this line back here. Getting one more trade here. I'll get one more down at this line. Okay, just taking profits on that bottom one. So you can see, like when the news happens, I really spread my trades out a lot more. So I don't have a perfect pyramid stacking on those first few trades because I'm just trying to do them so light until I find more significant levels to put more significant stacks in on. So I'll go in, if it dips down again, I'll go for another long right in here.
just took profit on that bottom one. Okay, what are we gonna do? Another push down, and I'll buy it again. Oh, I was anticipating a drop, and I got into one a little too soon. So I'm going to take it off right away for a small profit, just because it was a bad location. I wanted it lower. So essentially, I was just mitigating that little error and was able to just get it for a small profit. So that's a better spot to buy it. So I got a better entry on that one. And profits on it right away. Okay,
it pops down, I'll buy it again. Just got my finger on the trigger. And just hit a profit target instead. Didn't get a chance to get onto another buy, but I'll take the profit target. Pops down, I'll get another buy on. Just one more little push deeper, and I can get that buy on again. Okay, right there. It's a good spot. Yeah, Larry, in Alveo, I use the 1 minute chart on my left, and I put my 5 minute chart on my right side. I use two charts. And I kind of like divide my screens up into thirds. So 2/3 of my screen is the 1 minute chart, and then just 1/3 of my screen is the 5 minute chart. I'll see if I can pull it up. Oh, you know what? When I tried to load Alveo, it froze up. So I think maybe I better not do it while we're doing this. I don't want it to create a lagging environment for us. That profit target hit. Just waiting to see, will it get that last one up there? You like to divide yours into thirds as well? I think it's a nice way to view it. Pushes down, I'll get into another buy. And that last target hit. Nice. That was good volatility in there. And I think that's going to be it for my trading today. with you guys. That was a nice little section of volatility. I'm going to pull up the trade history. Just look at what we did. This was really good for my type of trading. So we started back over here and we bought that market, took profits, we bought again, we took profits, we bought and took profits multiple times through there. I think, did I? No. And then we had the market drop a good ways and we kind of just were slow and we waited. And then we bought into the bottoms on that market, made some money in there, shorted that, shorted it again. There's 2 shorts in there. Then it dropped and started buying, made money on the way back up, and then bought through this volatility on all these pushes down, kept buying and buying, buying, and just kept nailing those targets. So that was a nice way to finish it off. Good session. I'm going to just do the calculate what we made. So it is 10,180 and 12 cents. And we started out at 10,154.47. That's $25. It's a good chunk. And then divide that by 10,154.47 times 100 equals a nice even 0.25% on the day. 0.25%. Nice gain on the account. If you can do that every day, 0.25% is beautiful. So thanks, Josh. Very useful watching. I'm just so happy to do it with you guys. I'm so glad that you could come in and we can just have a chat. And I think one of the takeaways for me is just making sure that we're defined on how we enter and exit. Larry was saying that he is exiting at 2% when in the loss, and I think that's a really good way to lose. I lose 2% every time consistently, and I think it's super important to be consistent with how you win and just as, if not more important, how you lose. And then for me, just making sure that I didn't oversize like I did last night. So I was like really focusing on not doing that, making sure I get back and cementing my good habits. And it was pretty good today. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to call that today. And I'll be back on tomorrow morning, same time. And I'll be in touch to see if we can fit a Tokyo session in sometime soon. All right. Okay, you guys.